2, 1. Till the Morning by Brian D'Addario. Brian D'Addario is for sure better known as one half of the band The Lemon Twigs with his brother Michael D'Addario. They're based out of New York. They really kind of like sit on this pop rock kind of spot, but very much like 60s, 70s influenced style. Mm-hmm. Basically what I can say is, if you're listening to this where we have all of the albums together, if you were in 6th gear after we were talking about Backwash, put it into 1st gear. Park the car. Because it is going to be completely different. Yeah. If you were in a parked car when you were listening to that review, put it into 6th gear, because it really doesn't matter which side you liked more. They're so polar opposite, it's not even close. It is... We're talking influences of the Beatles, we're talking influences of the Beach Boys in, like, modern times. But what I think is really cool about the Lemon Twigs is they still talk about modern problems while kind of taking that aesthetic with it. And that's going to be something that I think we're going to bring up kind of multiple times throughout while we're reviewing this. They've been doing music since 2014, dropping their first album in 2016, and almost another every other year since. Mm-hmm. 2 records ago was my first experience with them in 2023 with Everything Harmony, which was a kind of ballad-based, and again, kind of continues forward into this album. Very ballad-based and very 70s influenced. 2024, they dropped a follow-up record, A Dream Is All We Know, which was a lot lighter and kind of more into the Beatles side. If you were to, I will mention the Beatles and the Beach Boys a lot throughout this whole album, and you guys have listened, so you guys know. If you haven't, listeners at home, if you haven't listened to it yet, you understand. I know that you already organically understand. It's just kind of the way that it goes. But this was Brian's first solo record, but Michael, his brother, also the member of the Lemon Twigs, did all of the production on it. So they're still kind of working as a team. The only difference is Michael is just doing production on this. It is worth noting that on all of their records, they have always done their own production on everything as well. So even if you're a fan of the Lemon Twigs, that is just the two of them doing what they do best, which is make music. And they honestly do a very good job of doing that. I was a big fan of the Lemon Twigs, so I was really excited to see Brian D'Addario was going to do his own thing. Was a big standout one that I wanted to make sure that we covered in this side. When it comes to this project, Brian D'Addario kind of really said, like, this is going to be, again, a little bit more 60s, 70s, so maybe a little bit older than some of the other stuff that they've put out, kind of influenced. But this was, honestly, the way that he described it, just some extra songs that he had, which is kind of crazy to think about, because the way that this album all comes together doesn't feel like it wasn't orchestrated to be a really unified album. But yeah, his description of it was like, well, we did a bunch of the songs that we wanted to do on Everything Harmony, and then we did a bunch of songs that we wanted to do on A Dream Is All We Know, and he's just like, this is just still extra stuff that I have as well, which is really, really unique, really neat. I think it's kind of cool that if you're able to put out a project like this, and we'll go through, you guys will make your own opinions and tell me what your opinions are about them, but to still be able to put together this project with what you kind of didn't say but kind of hinted were throwaways for you is decently impressive. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into it in just a second here and go track by track like we always do. But Mel, Bob, what do you guys have to add?
I'll say,
dive in.
I do think that doesn't his brother co-sing on a couple of these songs?
Very possible.
I feel like I've read that somewhere. He co-sings or does some of the harmonies on some of these. Of course, a complete tone change from the other. I would say the other 2 albums. We're going to talk about the other one later.
They don't know about that one yet, Bob.
Yeah,
can we?
They will.
In case you guys are wondering,
a preview, if you will. That one's also There's a lot going on there, but you hit on the nail on the head there. I wrote down Beach Boys coded, Beatles coded. I even threw Paul Simon in there because a lot of Paul Simon kind of sounds in here. there's not much more I'll say about it for now. I'll wait till we get through these, but yeah, it was an interesting listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that it came out last Friday, so I listened to it separate from all the content we took in yesterday, because I think it would have like thrown me. Like the whiplash would have been crazy. I don't know how y'all did it. But yeah, I felt like I was in a time machine. I do feel like I went back.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything new out like this in forever. I'm also not actively looking for anything that sounds like that, so I'm sure maybe it exists, but I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, I felt like I time traveled.
Yeah, great way to put it.
100%. Well, we can time travel to the morning with the first track, Till the Morning.
Segue point, everybody. Segue point. I love it.
I am so sorry. Let me just play the song. Go ahead.
I loved the opening and closing line. So the opening verse already pulled me in, because I just love that whole vibe that like the world sucks, but the second you crawl into bed with the person that you love, you can pretend it's fine until the morning at least. So I loved that the opening and closing verse like repeated itself, and I also thought he did such a good job with the lyrics where there's no actual chorus, but he keeps repeating until the morning or the morning at the end of every verse. But I love that he threw in, but are we left crippled in our mourning in one of those. Like it was such like a good, like it made me kind of do a double take on that verse, which I really enjoyed.
You're rhyming the same word, but
it has
a completely different meaning.
Exactly. I thought it was so well done.
Yeah, the whole song's about basically using love, sex as a way to escape shitty life stuff. I think we can all relate to that. It's a good first song. It was a nice way to get into Brian Daddio, as I'm going to continue referring to him as.
Daddio.
I will say that I told you guys this already, but for the listeners, I started this album at the gym. Which was a terrible decision. As you guys will continue to hear, this is not the type of music you want to listen to while you're trying to bench press or get some squats in. It's it was not the best for pumping me up. But I enjoyed this first song.
I thought it was great. I thought it was an awesome opener. Obviously, it's very Beatles. It edges into like that psychedelic kind of sound with it, which I really liked, but still with these really sunny components regarding it. You know what I mean? If you listen to psych rock, it can kind of go one of two ways. Either everything is perfect and everything is beautiful and happy and sunny, or the bad acid trip where everything is weird and terrifying. And this one, what I think is really cool about taking this kind of psych pop style that the Beatles were so good at is this nature of the song is one side of it, but the contents of what Brian is saying, and this will be consistent, pretty consistent throughout the whole album, is there's a lot of dark messaging throughout all of it. Like, everything is sunny, but I'm still not having a good time, man. Mm-hmm. And like, I think that's kind of like an important part with this. Like, we're gonna open this up with, hey, like, I do get some refuge at times until the morning, and I have to go and do regular day stuff, which is crazy. I love the fact that it used just a very traditional 60s like organ all the way through the whole track. Like, it's just I love organs. I love synths. I've made it pretty clear. I'm a big fan of it. So like, just very traditional in that sense. the poetic nature of this song is wild. Like, it is. I can't say it's better than Paul McCartney. This is better than a lot of, McCartney's work.
It's fair.
Some Paul McCartney is just better. Paul McCartney is one of the craziest pop lyricists of all time. Exactly. It's almost irrefutable. You cannot say one is better than Paul McCartney. It's just impossible.
Sounds like you want to say it's better.
But you want to say it, yeah.
But this was one where this is way up there though. Like, this is insane. The fact that, like you had mentioned, like I had written down about the morning and like the adjustment in that. Everything kind of keeps coming back to that same coda that's in the morning part over and over again, but every verse just feels so unique and so different whilst telling still this same whole story. It is. I loved the writing, and I will continue to say I love the writing throughout this whole thing. It really it stands out as like just the lyricism from Brian Daddario is unbelievable. I also liked and appreciated musically just these little tiny, it is organ heavy, it is organ focused for sure all the way throughout, but these little quips of this kind of psych guitar that kind of keep like, it just dives in, it kind of nips in really quickly and then bounces back out and lets the organ still take over. And it's like, I love just, for the fact that the Daddarios both are on the production of this, I thought that was a brilliant touch. And again, he kind of keeps that consistently all the way through, where it's, sometimes you're going to get a more guitar focus, but no matter what, all the instruments are still kind of there, and they just, when it's not the focus, it just nips in really quickly and bounces back out, and it's just like, that's all I need to throw in here, and it just adds that extra little bit of complexity to each of the tracks that something like the Beatles doesn't really have, right? These are two guys that are using brand new sound systems and the ability to mix and master and stuff like that differently. Whereas in the Beatles' time, they didn't have the ability to do that. So even though it's so much stylistically and so much influenced by that, it still uses some modern approaches that the Beatles wouldn't have had. And it makes me feel like the Beatles absolutely would have dove into this if they were sadder and had the technology that they have. Because let's be serious. Again, we're going to go through this. Brian,
this is a sad album.
He might be a bit of a sad guy.
Yeah.
There might be some things going on.
There's some shit going on.
If you're not focused and listening, you'll have no clue.
No, because the sound is so cute and gentle.
Yeah, you have to really sit and listen to the music, like the lyrics. Yeah. Like, I did not catch it the first few songs, then I'll re-listen, I started looking at the lyrics, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
there's some dark stuff here. Yeah.
For sure.
Which we'll get into.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's super cool. Because then it goes into
the song
of everyone. Let's give it a quick listen.
No single plan for any woman, child or man. Each must find their own way or get lost in decay. Sing the song of everyone, let it unfold. The song of everyone, more precious than gold. The song of everyone, the song of everyone. You're in the hats and vests and silk, searching again for mother's milk.
So it feels longing for like previous days, like days of yore is literally what I had written down. Like it feels like it's trying to find something from a prior time. But like just the fact in that clip, like I wanted to make sure I specifically had like them going from the word decay right into let's sing the song of everyone. And it's like, hold on, what did you say again?
No, you'd picked the perfect clip because that was literally my note. Like it's so gentle and his vocals are so sweet and tender, but like you were slapped with the brutal honesty of each must find their own way or get lost in decay. It's like so humbling and like it's okay.
So let's sing the song. This is the song of everyone, though, and it's just like doing it with a smile, and everybody's just like,
yeah.
I need you to roll that back for me
It's
a
like
second,
almost
Brian.
a little brainwashy, like.
Like he's just like, no, don't worry. Everybody's gonna die. Everybody's going through all of the worst things possible right now. That's the song of everybody, though, and it's like,
Okay.
So I looked at it a little differently. I feel like the whole song is about making your own path in life, right? To each must find their own way or get lost in decay. There's other lyrics that say, you're into hats and vests of silk, searching again for mother's milk. Those are basically saying stop relying on other people to give you things in life. Like do your own shit, do your own thing, make your own path is the way I looked at it.
But I think the imagery of decay and the imagery of a baby trying to find food, like I think those are really dark and like.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's almost meant to be a shock because of everything that's happening behind it, right? You got to remember, there's no percussion in this track at all. Mm-hmm. There's zero drums, so
Very
it is also just this weird pop ballad that sounds so charming, but then hits you in the kneecaps of just like, there are kids that are going hungry. If you don't continue to move on with your life, you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
And it's just like that charming juxtaposition between the two. This is very much like, I don't know if you guys have listened to Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, where a different Brian Wilson, wrote these crazy pop tracks and had the darkest connotations behind them. And it was like to the point that by itself is the disturbing part, right? You take those lyrics and you put them on a metal album, you're going to be like, oh, that's not really that big of a deal. That's normal.
Yeah.
Right? You take this pop sound, everybody's going to be like, oh, no, that's normal. Those two things smashing each other in the face, though, and being like, I'm going to do both.
Definitely different.
Like, it makes it feel so uncomfortable. You're right. It does kind of sound brainwashy. Like, that person is already brainwashed and is now, like, trying to tell you, no, everything's okay. As long as you don't stop pretty much doing everything everybody tells you to, because that's just going to kill you, or you're just never going to be able to eat ever again. What?
Yeah. It's pretty fucked.
Again, like, it's one of those, like, subliminal messages, like, roll that back again. I need to hear it. I need to hear it backwards now, just to, like, see if there's another message the other way, too, because, like, it could be.
Okay,
I don't
helter
know.
skelter.
Right? Like, it's just weird. It's so discomforting, and I think Brian does such a good job throughout this whole album of just creating this dystopian, everybody's smiling but nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, dystopian's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's don't worry.
That's a trip.
There's more.
Oh yeah. Well, there's nothing on my mind.
Yeah.
Dude,
well,
there's never anything on my mind.
let's see if we can get this on your mind. Nothing on My Mind by Brandito.
Harper's wage, all to make one man a king. And when he came home, I felt more alone. No one ever said a thing. Oh, there's nothing on my mind, but I just can't keep from crying.
Same, bro. Yeah, I literally was like, I also have nothing on my mind and find myself crying all the time. I love that
Obviously.
his daddy issues come out in this one.
Yeah.
It's like, it is like crazy, just again, the poetic nature of it, and then just the vibe that the music gives off is just this like powerful, again, just juxtaposition where it's just like, I feel nothing at all, but I'm still bawling my eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening?
Depression.
Right? Like, it's like, this is...
Yeah. A lot going on here.
Yeah.
The dude had a shitty childhood, apparently, because the parents had their own shit to deal with. They didn't have time to fine with him.
Yeah.
I wrote down his lover had a heart attack, I think. I don't know what. At some point, I wrote that down. I don't know why.
Oh, with a pain
but-
inside her chest. Yeah. My old
Yeah,
lover
yeah.
grew old with a pain inside her chest.
Yeah, maybe that's not what it was.
And then we
but-
laid her soul to rest.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I thought that. Yeah.
But again, the musically, listeners, if you have not heard the track yet,
So happy.
Yeah.
it stays the same as the clip was. The things that we're saying
Yeah.
are the words that are being said, but it's still to that same atmosphere, which
Yeah.
is just crazy. This is obviously a little bit more rocky, which I can appreciate a lot. Kind of southern rock influences I found on this a little bit more, which I appreciated. The tempo, there's a tempo change up that happens in it too that I personally really enjoyed. It's very psych, again, very still around that southern psych rock kind of area. The one thing that kind of took me in and out of it at the same time was the weird kazoo sounding solo. Just to show how, again, remembering that like nothing's on his mind, the sound of a kazoo kind of feels like it's like the lights are on but nobody's home kind of a mentality. And I think like that's kind of the joke, is just like, oh no, like there's zero going on up here. But again, like that, but I'm
sad.
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the kazoo is just such a silly thing, and so like him trying to justify it as being a silly emotion, like him crying is silly because he doesn't have a reason to be sad, but like he is, obviously there's something going on.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really cool way to kind of
Yeah.
put it in there, but nobody really gets. Again, I don't know for sure if it's a kazoo. I could not put a finger on what instrument that could be.
Kazoo makes sense.
It kind of sounds like a kazoo, though. It's
Agreed.
super interesting. If you guys are, leave it in the comments if you guys know what specific instrument that is, because it is different, and it worked really well in line with the album, and like kind of keeping this silly atmosphere around really dark material inside,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Not going on there.
Yeah.
And this continues. Like this sort of thing
Yeah.
continues. Very, very happy.
Oh yeah, don't
Although
worry.
It gets slower and a bit more depressing later. For more than just the lyrics, but
It sure does.
yeah.
Because then we dive into One Day I'm Coming Home.
Mm-hmm.
See me, then speak to me, 'cause I've tried to call, but no one answers the phone. And if you need me, then leave me. I wanna believe I'm not alone.
I needed to keep the solo in. The solo is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a music, like an instrumental interlude. It makes me happy.
Same.
Man,
Yeah, you
he's
start to feel
so
the
alone
sadness.
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
like his dad had him feeling alone. He really just doesn't want to be
Yeah.
alone, but this poor guy is...
You start to get some a little bit of country twang, I
For
guess.
sure.
Yeah.
Very
Which-
southern
Yeah.
intro with
Yeah.
it, and then bringing in
Yeah.
that slide guitar, I think kind of really set
Yeah.
it. Honestly, I wrote down that this kind of reminded me of like the Carter family if
Oh,
the
wow.
family wasn't there in the content. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like if the Carter family was just one person who had the family and is
Yeah.
now it's just
I like that.
now it's just one Carter.
Just one card.
Which is interesting. I loved this song. This is another one of the songs that I've gone back to now multiple times because I love this song so much. I thought it was his best vocal performance.
Agree there, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, one of the better ones. For sure.
I'll say it's second best, but
Yeah.
best one so far by like
Oh,
a
yeah.
long
Yeah.
shot.
Absolutely.
He gets a little yelly on the track as well. Like actually lets his voice break a little bit when he's hitting certain notes, and I thought that was really cool, and just kind of created. Like, we've had nothing but dark content and really light sound. This was kind of like a bit of, like, leveling out the
Bridging
notches
the
a
gap,
little bit.
yeah.
the sound of this music was a little bit more aggressive, and his voice got a little bit, the musicality of it got a little bit more aggressive to kind of match the content of it.
You finally feel the sadness a little bit in the music,
Yeah.
rather than being so happy with the dark undertone.
Correct. This
Lyrics,
one felt a little bit more like I am mad, and like I'm understanding the world around me is a little bit mad too. So like, cool. Love that for you, Brian. One day you will bring it home, I'm sure.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy.
But any lasting thoughts on One Day I'm Coming Home?
I wrote down he's pissed about his childhood again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down.
Which is really interesting too, because obviously pretty close with his brother, who's also hanging out on this track.
Yeah.
And he's just like, wow, you really didn't like Ma and Pa, hey?
I mean, I can speak from experience that when you're dealing with childhood trauma, sometimes it brings siblings closer together and sometimes it drives them very far away. And me and my sister have clung together, man. It's like, so you just need that one person to help you get through it.
That's how me and my sister are too.
Yeah.
For the same reasons.
It's like, dude, we're trauma bonded for life.
Yep. 100%.
I'm an only child, so I can't
wouldn't know.
share
That
in the sentiment
explains
between
a
y'all.
lot.
No, it doesn't. You don't know me at all.
You don't know me.
You don't know me at all.
Brandito's going to make his own album now.
Come
It's
on.
about you, Mel.
Yeah, go
Don't be
for it.
ridiculous.
Let's go sound like the Beatles.
Regardless,
Let's ease your mind.
let's ease. Yeah, sure. Regardless, I do want to note really quickly though. This song starts off really differently. It feels like it's going to be an interlude. You know, when I'm doing these reviews and I'm making sure I write down my notes and everything like that, I keep Spotify on my phone just open and I'm just looking at it. No, not like the whole time. If I didn't know that this song was already X amount of time, I would not have thought this song was going to be any amount of time. It really feels like this was going to be an interlude, but it wasn't. This is what it ended up being.
Devils clouding up my mind, they won't leave me behind. Now I can only deceive you, far from my love I'll reside. All you need to know is how I love you so bad I'm bleeding, but don't feel pain. For love which cannot be can hurt eternally, but in healing you can love again.
That's brutal, man. What a
Like-
clip.
I'm bleeding, but I feel no pain right after, like, I love you so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, what is going on?
Also,
like, it's just,
could you imagine being on the receiving end of that line? Like, I love you so much, but it's literally killing me. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. How is this my fault?
like, I think that's something that Brian Daddario does so well in this, is the imagery, he uses grotesque motif to, oh, I accidentally turned on a heater there. Whoops. He uses these really aggressive, grotesque motifs to convey what, like, you're right, this could be a normal romantic song, right? And if you changed a couple of the words, it would just sound like, oh, like, I'm dying for you, kind of like mentality. But no, he's just like, I am bleeding and I feel no pain. That's how much I love you. And it's like, this is a really grotesque, like, punch you in the face with love kind of.
And, like, it's emotionally manipulating. Like, it's like
absolutely.
brutal. Yeah, like, I'm but a fool who can often be cruel when I'm needing but a kiss from you. Like, what?
Yeah, he's saying he's a dick to his lover, but also, like, I just want to love you.
Yeah,
Like,
at least
yes,
he's self-aware.
yeah, but that's kind of what.
It's like, but the imagery that's created with the way the language used makes it feel horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, also again, playing the softest sounding instrumentation
the cutest little
so
melody.
ever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be that.
Yeah. It's only a couple words away from "Love Me to Heaven."
Which you guys will understand as long as you catch our next episode, the Track Attack, which drops on Wednesday.
Man, what a time, man.
What a time. Some might call it a flash in the pan.
Oh,
Oh God.
No,
it's a
these
combination.
are getting worse.
This honestly, this is like I wrote down here the amount of inspiration that this album takes, but still makes it really unique. I think is really really cool. It's this was a track where I'm like, okay, like again, it's so inspired, but it does it in such a unique way that I really genuinely appreciated. Here's some flash in the pan.
Forgive me, Father, for I know I've sinned. I've thrown your grace inside a garbage bin. I've been given all I need and more. So what on earth should I be longing for?
So that break after the word bin is so cool to me for like no reason. Like he's calling him like basically calling himself garbage, and then I gotta play it again.
Yeah.
I loved that so much. Sorry, he was calling their love
Yeah.
garbage. I thought that was such a cool break.
Yeah.
I
I
needed to
didn't-
keep that in the clip.
I actually
Yeah.
didn't catch that, but I'm glad you pointed out because it does kind of like draw an emphasis to that. Yeah.
It's like a quick, like deep breath where it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a light little gasp
Mm-hmm.
for well, obviously reason.
So is this a song about, is he reaching out to God and only reaches out to God when he needs him and not any other time? Or is it more like a lover kind of thing? That's what
That'll
I
be
could-
probably a better question for our lyric genius, Mel.
Yeah.
I
they're
took
queen.
it more as like a spiritual thing, but I could see
Okay.
it going either way. Like I've thrown your
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I could see it going either way actually, but I related to it personally as somebody who doesn't believe in fucking God as like a
Until he
yeah,
needs to,
I
until
throw
shit
your-
is bad.
Yeah, I throw your grace inside a garbage bin too, bitch. Like,
Right. I only
Um,
want to love you. I take what I can from you.
yeah.
So you can move along and I can do my wrongs till I need you.
Until-
again.
yeah,
That
so-
sounds like.
It sounds like, yeah, until all of a sudden I need to like confess my sins and we're stuck
Right.
in this cycle again.
Right. Until shit goes bad and I
Yeah,
need to pray for
yeah.
better things. Yeah. Which is,
Yeah.
I like the song.
But
better
again,
now that I
it
look at it that
can
way.
also be fitting of just a toxic relationship. Yeah, like I
Sure.
take the love when I need it, then I treat you like fucking shit, and then I beg for your forgiveness to get you back again. So yeah, it fits both ways in my opinion.
Yeah.
100%. Musically, again, little key solo. You know, you know how I feel about it.
Yep.
You guys know I like organ, piano, and synthesizer solos.
This guy and his
I don't know if you
organs.
guys knew that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. And then it does go into like again this kind of like rockier vibe, and it gets intenser, like more and more intense. I don't know if intenser is a word. It gets more and more intense as things go on, which again just kind of cool. Another cool track. Like there was, all of them are cool. You know,
Yeah,
all of them are cool.
yeah.
That brings us into Company. And this is, again, another ballady track. I actually started this clip from the very beginning of the song because I thought that was one of the more important parts of the track. We'll give it a little listen.
Well,
Don't waste your time now. I'm doing fine now. I'll catch you next time, so you say. I'm feeling better under the weather. Then again, who's well these days?
Facts.
this is a song I had to skip. Like at the gym, I'm like, okay, I cannot listen to
No,
this anymore.
not
I'll
at
listen to
the
the rest
gym.
later.
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot do this. This is so slow.
It slows down dramatically.
Yeah.
This is like ill millennial Disney music. Like it's
Yeah.
like it is. I get so excited for these ballady type songs because they get so dark,
Yeah.
even though it sounds so sweet. Like he's just talking about like mental health. Even
Depression,
though
yeah.
who's okay nowadays, anyways?
Nobody.
Everybody's like pretty sick. I'm doing better, but like
Yeah.
everybody's ill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
It's
to
like-
it being about the song of everyone. Yeah. Like,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially a song about gritting and bearing life, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm
And like
depressed,
just
but
being
who
like,
isn't?
well, everybody's kind of
I just, yeah. The,
messed up right
It's
now.
nice to have some company. It's so fun.
Misery loves.
Misery does love company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't look at that. Oh, that's a good way
Yeah.
to look at the title of the song.
Yeah.
Look at you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Nice.
Because you were too busy skipping it at the gym. Like,
I
this
was.
is
I listened to it again last night, but I did not get that. Here I am.
Like I said, this whole album does feel like if the Beatles or the Beach Boys were millennials, like
Yeah.
what they would be, what they
Millennials.
would have wrote.
We're such a sad group of people. It's actually really.
Like it is, where it's just like, but like even if you're not like outwardly sad, you're just like, well, like I do get a little bit sad, but like everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
is these days, right?
Because
We're all going through our own shit.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's like kind of feeling that way, right?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, these guys are younger than I am. These guys are, I think, born in '97, if I'm not mistaken. So they still
Oh, wow.
just kind of fall inside that window, but like
Yeah.
right on the very tail end, it's just like
Yeah.
it genuinely makes me happy to hear like again a Beatles style song that relates more to modern day concerns, like a millennial's mental health. So when I starts twitching for me, I think
Oh man.
that might be something that really draws me towards the whole
Yeah.
of the album. Is just like they're talking about subjects that I've probably written things about in school and stuff.
Sure,
I probably
yeah.
wrote some tragically,
Oh, we all do as a teenager. Everything.
angsty stuff.
I was
Yeah,
like,
angsty.
This
For
just
sure.
reminds me of my monthly check-ins with my psychiatrist. Like, I don't know, like this, bro, I need a refill on my Wellbutrin and my Lexapro. This is how I'm feeling this month. And it's
Yeah.
on repeat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just song like this song will probably be on repeat for you this summer.
When I kill myself.
Now.
How dare you read the lyrics?
Line, man. I'm not just saying
This was the song where I was like, okay, what is happening with this band? Like, I really need to take another look at all these lyrics or another
Yeah.
listen because I'm like, okay, this is some crazy shit.
What? Just shouting, "I'm never gonna
Yeah.
die,"
Yeah.
doesn't.
This summer
Doesn't-
I kill myself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot.
This feels like almost parody at this point. Like this is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this song specifically just sounds like
Yeah.
parody. I'm gonna kill myself, but I'm also never gonna die.
Never gonna die. I wrote down
I
LOL was
see
the
it
song.
more
Yeah.
like almost like, I don't know, schizophrenic. Like,
It really
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's just like these weird like in betweens. I don't know. Like it's one of those things where it's just like the way that it sets up is almost like this sort of. He's saying, "I'm never gonna die," like that's the bad thing.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he
oh
is.
no, I'm never gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna die. I literally cannot figure out a way to die.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's
oh,
like,
no.
yeah, this summer I kill myself. Like, he's trying to gear himself up for it, but, like, it's not happening.
For sure.
Yeah.
Musically, again, that southern guitar riff, like with the over-filtered Beach Boys kind of sound, that really wet sound, I thought worked really, really well with it. I thought that was a fantastic way to mix that together.
It sounds so nice and so lovely. Like it's such a beautiful, like feel good beat. Feel
and
good
if you
music.
skip a couple of the lines, it
Yeah.
still is upbeat and
Right.
happy. It's just a guy who's saying, "I'm never gonna die."
Yeah.
If you have any of the other words in it,
Yeah, just skip the first half of the song where he actually includes the killing himself in the verses.
It's just insane, and I love it so much. Like I don't want to be in Brian Daddario's world, but seeing what he's creating in it is hilarious. These again, to reiterate, are the tracks that were just kicking around his brain as per him.
Yep.
He just had these on
were-
standby.
These
Just
are
some
just
extra
the
stuff.
things that were like in his back pocket. Like he's just like, oh, keys, oh, a quarter, oh, I'm never gonna die song.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's called This Summer, like I think that's like my favorite thing too. Like the summer in the morning, they're bright, they're shining, they're happy, birds are chirping, and it's not the case for him at all.
Every single song on this, with the exception of maybe Useless Tears and Spirit Without a Home, those two tracks are the only ones that actually have a sad sounding title too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What You Are Is Beautiful, Flash in the
Yeah.
Pan, One Day I'm Coming Home, Only to Ease My Mind, like
Yeah.
song of everyone.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is remarkable. I love it. This was another opening that I thought was absolutely beautiful. What You Are Is Beautiful. I think this was instrumentally one of the prettiest songs. Not my favorite song, but easily one of the prettiest songs.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go for it. What You Are Is Beautiful. Did I give you a track for it?
That is a great question. Let me check the notes. I was doing this morning and might have fucked up. No, I have This Summer and then Useless Tears.
Weird. Then I missed putting this one in, so I'm going to go to Spotify. If you don't mind making sure that you put it on. Oh, we got to stop singing. We got to stop ruining everything.
You guys are singing so beautifully for such sad subject.
What we aren't is beautiful singers.
I
That's
appreciate that this time it was you that fucked up and not me.
It's fine. I'm fine. Are you fine?
No, I'm not fine,
None of us
actually.
are. I gotta
This
change.
summer,
Here we go. And
Get the work and put it in the pot.
nope,
That's definitely
super
not it.
clipping. So much clipping. Definitely not Brian Daddario.
Oh man.
Wow.
Could be more different.
I was trying to figure out how we got 2 seconds in.
We can't cut that out. We have to keep this in.
I'm gonna need to add the sound clip for clipping in because
Through your eyes of sadness, I see meadows and flowers.
that was awesome.
Well, for the listeners at home that got to listen to it, again, thought that was a beautiful opening. I actually had another 23 seconds that I'd like to play, but Spotify cuts you out after
Yeah.
30 seconds, so I'm going to play the other 23 seconds so you can actually hear the...
Meadows and flowers of yellow gold, fields of daffodils and roses, all that nature exposes in a quilt of orange.
There you go, everybody. That was
I'm dying.
the
Without further ado,
hardest chance, like the hardest path to getting a clip out there for you guys. Is that specifically right there?
Oh my god.
man, I like this. This is a love song, like in every form of the word, or form of the in every form, I should say. The lyrics are lovely. I don't really like his vocals here. The solo vocals here are a little. I don't know how to describe them. Not screechy, but they're just not pleasant.
I
guess,
can
in
for
some
sure
parts.
understand these
Yeah.
vocals for sure aren't going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
I appreciated them. They weren't my favorite vocal performance though
Sure.
either for him. I don't disagree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike them either.
Yeah.
They don't stand out in either direction for me, but I did appreciate it. Again, this is kind of another interlude ballad at the end of the day, so I wasn't really overly fussed about it, which is why it sucks that it took me 2 minutes to play a 53-second clip, including playing clipping, which is not the same.
Not even
at all.
close.
Like
But there you have it.
if you take out the line "Through Your Eyes of Sadness," like the rest of this, like could be
Yeah.
a first dance song at a wedding
Yeah,
or something. Like,
for sure it can be.
Yeah, it's nice.
But he wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be because it's
Yeah.
still
Sad.
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 In case you didn't know, Brian Daddario is sad. If you've gotten this far and you haven't realized that Brian Daddario is sad,
well, here he's saying his lover is sad or whatever. And through her eyes of sadness,
Yeah.
or their eyes of sadness, there's meadows of flowers and yellow.
Everybody's
gold, so they're
sad.
sweet. Yeah,
everybody gets like that
yeah.
sometimes, right?
So
Sometimes,
sweet
all
song.
the time,
I liked it.
constantly sad. What are you talking
But why
about?
get sad and cry? Because they're just useless tears.
there it is.
That was a good one.
No, it wasn't.
There it is.
It was
That was a
awful.
good one.
It was a little
This
forced.
actually was really interesting. It was a little forced, 100%. This one was really interesting because this song actually has a full strings section that was out of nowhere as well. That was I really like. This was without a question. I'll play it. Let's play it first.
First, yeah.
And who's gonna right this wrong now? They're standing back behind their iron gate. His anger is turned on another broken promise by the trembling hands of fate. These useless tears, they echo through the years, keep on flowing year to year like an oil well. Red despair is blowing through the air, now it's going everywhere like the flames of hell.
You were about to say, without a doubt, this is the best song of the album, and I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
this song is so good.
Yeah, it's a great
It's
song.
a good one. Yeah.
It's like it's so like prog rocky, like the pacing, like it opens with that minor chord that just feels so uncomfortable while like kind of going through, but still like has that charm and appeal to it at the same time.
Yeah.
It felt this one felt like a little bit more hard rock Beatles like crossover. It was just this was just a cool track. I personally can't say that I've heard anything really like it.
So
And that was
I actually now, as an adult, thinking back to it. So way back when Panic at the Disco released Pretty Odd, I hated it because I thought it was such a deviation from their sound. But like as an adult, like you can hear like the Beatles influences, and this is actually giving me this song specifically because you don't get it on the other ones. Gives me Panic at the Disco Pretty Odd vibes.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think they do it a lot better than Panic at the Disco did. But
I was gonna say, especially the lyricism for sure,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
Is kind of the big kick on this. I circled this thing like I put a heart beside it and I circled the heart like 50 times over. I've listened to the song like 20 times
You're
since
like
yesterday,
a little
since Wednesday.
Schoolgirl writing in her diary how
I
much
genuinely
you love the boy.
love this song. I think this is the best track that we have covered in
Ever?
the albums, of any of the albums. Actually, and probably of any of the singles too.
Fucking,
This song's like a 10 out of 10.
you
for me.
come for Chapel Roan's The Giver again, bro, and we're gonna fight. I'm kidding.
Where'd that come from?
Just
I think
that's
the whole-
obviously the best single we've ever covered ever.
I think the whole point of The Giver is that everybody comes, but regardless,
Only if Chapel Roan is in charge of the coming.
And I love the messaging in this song too.
Yeah.
That, like basically about class struggles and how the poor always have to deal with the rich's bullshit.
it does it everywhere.
Yeah.
And what I also really appreciate is this has like a really British folk kind of style to it. They're from New York. They're not from the UK, but it has that kind of like again like Spinal Tappy kind of influences in some of it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of lute sounding guitar, like just this track was just really, really cool. I could not get over it enough. I think it's just so unique, so neat, so well put together. The lyricism on it's great. The musicality of it is awesome. And again, just something that is new and fresh and just different.
Yeah. I just shit on the vocals in the last song. That I think they're amazing in this song. I think
This-
the vocals work so well.
Is also my favorite vocal performance.
Yeah.
When I said the other one was my
Yeah.
favorite vocal performance, and I backed down and said no, like that maybe second best.
Yeah.
This was my favorite
Agreed.
vocal performance as well.
Yeah, checks out.
Then we close everything out with a little Spirit Without a Home, which I actually didn't grab a track for this one. this felt like a closing track.
Yeah.
In all fairness, this was kind of a low light for me.
Agreed.
On the whole album. It is almost like a final ballad of like ever. Like if Brian Daddario was just like, I'm also done making music now forever.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I could have figured that based on how you closed off your last album. Like it had a very like departing kind of theme to it. Like it's leaving, we're gone forever now. It's not my favorite track, but it definitely felt like closure for the album, which I thought was really cool. It kind of got a little bit too Queen power ballady for me over everything else. Like just kind of a little bit more intense than what the rest of the album kind of felt like it was going towards. So this one was kind of missable for me. Hence why I didn't grab a track. Unlike What You Are Is Beautiful, which I did grab a track for, which wasn't clipping, I can promise you.
Yeah, I also feel like it's just hard to follow up Useless Tears. Like, it was such a high point, so then to transition to this, it's hard to compare it's hard to follow that up and actually like the song.
The other thing to remember is, like, there's a couple tracks, like Useless Tears is a 7-minute long song, if I'm not mistaken. It is long. There's a lot there. And, like, it keeps you captivated the whole way through.
It's only 4 minutes, 22 seconds, but
it's
Okay.
the
Maybe
longest
I'm
song
thinking
of the album.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
Spirit Without a Home is
Second one.
5:27.
Yeah.
Is it?
This song goes on for 2 minutes too long, I feel like.
Oh, then I messed up. Why was I thinking this was maybe? Honestly, I could be thinking of Deaf Heaven,
Probably.
where
You
also
might be.
my favorite song was, I think, the one before
Seven.
the last, and that was like a 7-minute song. But regardless, it still kept you captivated the whole way through, and then Spirit Without a Home just kind of lost that captivation almost instantly. I'm like, okay, I'm almost done.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're
It's-
closing
it
it
was
off.
fun.
I'm closing it off. Let's
Yeah.
just shake hands and call it a day.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt
Yeah,
about
agree.
it. Yeah.
For sure.
And there's the
Which
album.
brings us to In Conclusions.
Nice. Mel, you go first. I'll make you go first.
I mean, I just feel like I relate a little too hard to all of it. But I did really enjoy it. I wasn't, I don't know the Lemon Twigs? So this is my first experience listening to them at all. And yeah, I at first listen, I was thrown off by the sound. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think I was prepared for it.
Same.
So I didn't really know how to feel about it. So it took me probably re-listening to actually fully appreciate the album. And yeah, the lyricism is top tier. Like no notes on that at all. It's perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you rate it?
I would say, like, I think it deserves higher than I'm going to give it, but me personally, I would put it as a 7-8.
There you go.
Yeah. A lot of my notes we kind of covered already. It reminded me of the Beatles, Beach Boys, Paul Simon. The lyrics don't match the spirit of the music I wrote down. They definitely don't. Dude is depressed, hurting, with a shitty childhood. It sounds like. My first listen, all I could think of through half of the early songs was Surf in USA.
Yeah.
Like there's so much Beach Boys, like, and a lot of that's the same kind of vibe. But of course, after a re-listen, after really looking at the lyrics, there's absolutely depth to this, and it's unique in the way that the music is presented versus the lyrics. That clash kind of makes it pretty cool, honestly. This isn't my type of music in general, but I appreciate this a lot. A lot with just like the previous album we reviewed. I'm not going to add most of these to the playlist. I would add Useless Tears to a playlist. I think that song's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's an instant add. The rest of them, not my style so much, but I definitely appreciate them. I appreciate the talent. I gave this a 7.5. I think it's probably better than that, but that's more of a personal taste rating than anything else.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
The thing that I would say, so regarding the, like, when you mentioned the Beach Boys and, like, Surfing USA is probably the wrong one to pick if you're going to talk about it.
Sure.
If you were going to refer it to the Beach Boys, what you want to pick is probably, like, Wouldn't It Be Nice, which is the opening track on Pet Sounds.
Nice if we
Because
were
the
older.
way, and again, very much Brian
Mel.
Wilson, like, intended,
Yeah.
is that is the opening track, is Wouldn't It Be Nice? And it just starts to devolve into darkness from there. The way that Wouldn't It Be Nice it doesn't really get bookmarked because there isn't one thing to start everything off, but immediately goes into these way darker themes. And so it has so much of Pet Sounds ingrained in its DNA, and I love that.
Yeah.
Personally, I really enjoyed that. This is a really refreshing break from conventional modern pop and rock, which
Agreed.
all is starting to sound so similar and starting to feel so similar that, like, to get something that is, sure, is it super influenced? Of course it is. That's fine. But it's not something that everybody's doing all the time now.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking the homage to the bands that are kind of reflected on this album. So to see the Didarios do that, and to see Brian Didario do that with such talented lyricism, I think was something that's incredible. It's not perfect. I can't sit there and say that it is. It's not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for every moment either. Like, there's going to be points in time that you don't want to listen to something like this. Like, this would be the last thing that you'd want to listen to. And I can totally understand that. But no matter what, this is something that is incredibly unique, almost bordering on, like, anti-pop, anti-folk, with how paradoxical the vibes are between the lyricism and the music. It does such a good job of kind of slamming both ends into one another and then saying, well, this is technically both of the things that I said that it was going to be, and and somebody being like, yeah, but like almost in such a ridiculous way that you could call it a parody almost.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's like anti-60s pop, and I think that is just so unique. Nobody did it in the 60s, let alone trying to do it now.
Yeah.
So, for me, this was just a true round even 8.0 for me.
Wow.
Okay.
I was expecting a 9, honestly.
I was
No.
too, actually. Yeah.
No, again, there are low parts. There are
Yeah.
moments where I'm like, hey, again, this is a little bit too kitschy, kind of in the sound and stuff like that. That it wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
The track specifically, Useless Tears specifically for me, was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I will
agreed.
say right
Yeah.
now, like, that was
Agreed.
a perfect track in my opinion. That was so cool.
Wow, we were a lot closer on this than I thought we were.
I thought
to be honest.
Brandito
Yep.
was going to
Yeah.
be way higher than us, and I actually
Yeah.
felt bad because maybe it does deserve higher, but
I'll admit, my first listen, I was thinking like in the 6s, to be honest with you, because it just not vibing with me. But once
You
again,
gotta.
it's like,
gotta
This is
listen,
this
yeah.
is it's like Squid. You gotta
yeah.
you gotta listen through it to be
Yeah.
able to understand it.
it's definitely
100%.
approachable. It's approachable music. It's nice to listen to music,
Yeah.
but again, not my
You could
taste.
play it in the background and not pay any attention to it, and
Yeah.
get a completely different experience out of it. And if you just like
Yeah.
the Beatles, cool. Then
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
you'll like it. If you just like the Beach Boys, cool. Then you'll
Yeah.
like the album. That's awesome. Fantastic. You're also. I hope that you're making sure that you take your cod liver oil because let's be real, right? You're probably not youthful if you're looking for a new age Beatles, but
Oh, that was a good one.
it's just one of those, it's just one of those things. I think that he does it so tastefully in between the two, and I just had a very real appreciation for the album, what it does. I can sit here and complain to you guys over and over again about how we cover, the Tate McRae's and the Lady Gagas, where I'm like, I don't feel like they're doing anything unique.
Yeah.
When we get a unique album in front of us, I need to give it credit where credit's due. Yeah, this is different. This is doing something different. I just happen to also like this, but it's one of those things that I can't bash Uniquity and then listen to this album and be like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Personally, I do like it. I like it a lot.
Nice. There you have it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.